Ghost Host ASMR. I am your host, and I am a ghost. And I would like to invite you to join me here in this small dark corner of the universe in which I reside. And I want you to know that for as long as you are here with me, I am here with you. And in this video tonight, we will be playing the Pokemon trading card game. First released for the Game Boy Color in 1998. And thankfully re-released on the Nintendo DS, because I no longer have the Game Boy Color that I first played this on. But before I get into the game, I encourage you to make yourself as comfortable as you can, and to take some deep breaths. And when you inhale, to allow that air to extend your belly. And on the exhales, to see if you can release any tension that you might be holding. You can focus on your brow and smooth out any tension that might be there. And move on down to your jaw. And release any tightness that you might be holding. And on down to your neck. And your shoulders. And on down your back. Try to let any tension there fall away to the ground below you. And allow the ghost inside you to sit in the center of where you are, because that is exactly where it belongs. And now, with our ghosts gathered, let's get into the game. I started the game over so that, in case you've never seen this before, you could get a full picture of how awesome this game is. But of course, you don't have to pay too much attention, because my guess is you might be here to relax and maybe even fall asleep. So, suffice it to say, if you do happen to pass out, you won't be missing much. But here we go. As you can see, this is your character portrait. This young child wears a red bandana with dark bangs and a red collared shirt. I'm going to give myself a name and hit the enter. And so it begins. It says, visits the Pokemon card researcher, Dr. Mason. And here you can see the map of the world in which this game takes place. And here we are in Dr. Mason's lab. And I wonder in this moment if Mason is in some way associated with a tree, as it has been the tradition in every Pokemon game for the professor to have a name that is also a tree. But I don't know. Dr. Mason says, "Oh, why the rush, Hackett? What? You want to learn how to play the Pokemon trading card game? So you too finally want to start playing the card game? Well, dueling is more fun than just collecting cards. First, you should try playing with a practice deck. Here, I'll give you this deck, and now you need an opponent. Hey, Sam, play with him for a while." Sam walks over and says, "Yes, Dr. Mason." "Hello, Hackett." "Okay," Dr. Mason says, "let's give it a try." I guess we will have to go through this tutorial. Although, you may already know how to play the Pokemon trading card game, as it has become quite popular since the release of it now almost 25 years ago or more. Okay, I get, what do you want to ask about? Well, I'm not going to ask about anything because I have quite a lot of experience playing this game. So we'll skip the small talk and jump into the tutorial. Dr. Mason says, "They say that actions speak louder than words, so let's play a game. Since this is your first time, just try to learn the basic steps. I'll be coaching you, so follow my advice. If you don't do as I say, you won't be able to proceed. It might be easier if you read the Pokemon trading card game instruction booklet while we play. Okay then, let's start your practice game." It's funny how they actually recommend that you read the instruction manual that would come with the game, whereas now no games come with instruction manuals, at least none that I've purchased recently. But here we are in what will become a familiar layout. At the start of the game, you have your character's avatar and the opponent. Although, I guess that was Sam, not Dr. Mason. Or, okay, yes, Dr. Mason here is now telling me to draw 7 cards, as I did. And then he tells me exactly what to do, such as to put down this Goldeen. You can see they give a little preview, or I guess that's probably the biggest version of the card picture you'll see in this game. Or there we are. So this game includes the original set that was released back in 1998 or 97, and then the 2 expansions that came soon after that, the Fossil and the Jungle expansion. So it has a decent amount of cards, although obviously nothing near what we're at today. But at least for me, the simplicity is what is, in some ways, so enjoyable about this game. I find that within the limitations of a smaller card set, it's easier to enjoy each of those cards and to find usefulness in cards that might otherwise have no value anymore. But again, Dr. Mason here is telling me exactly what to do. First, choose hand from the menu. Select a water energy card. Then attach that to the active Pokemon Goldeen. And then finally attack with Horn Attack. Something else else that I realized while playing this game is that they've actually changed the rules in Pokemon pretty drastically, in that if you are the first player, you don't get to use an attack, I believe, on your first turn, as kind of a way to buffer the advantage that you would have going first. But that's not the case in the original release, and so as it is here, you can attack as soon as you're able, even if that's on your first turn. Now my opponent Sam here, started with a Machop, who knows the move Low Kick, and so as it looks right now, he seems to be doing better than I. However, my Goldeen can evolve into a Sea King, which I had in my starting hand. So we've done that evolution, and now we'll move to the attack and use Sea King's second attack, Waterfall. Uh-oh. I guess I didn't do that in the right order. So, oh, maybe he wants me to attach a Psychic Energy. They stopped me from... There we go. Okay, I guess he wanted me to use a Psychic Energy to demonstrate how Sea King's Waterfall attack required only one Water Energy in particular, and then one more energy of any kind. So also absent in the original version of this game, the Pokemon trading card game, are the additional types such as Dark and Steel, Dragon, and Fairy that have all been added to the card game in the years that followed. But let's see what he wants me to do now. Attach a Water Energy card to the bench Star U, and then attack the opponent with a Horn attack, and then take take a prize card. Interesting. So we put a Water Energy on the Star U, and rather than use the stronger attack, we're just going to use the 10 damage Horn attack to finish off this Machop, and take one of the two prize cards, which are all we're playing for in this game. As we may see later, most of the battles that occur in this game only have 4 prize cards, whereas normally you have 6 prize cards in the Pokemon trading card game. But then in this match there's only 2. When all your Pokemon are knocked out, says Dr. Mason, and there are no Pokemon on your bench, you lose the game. Put Drowsy, the basic Pokemon you just drew, on your bench, as we will do, and then attach a Water Energy card to Drowsy and get it ready to attack. Something tells me we're not going to need it. And yes, then we get to attack with Sea King, who is looking to be almost knocked out itself. But with Waterfall, we get a good 30 damage on the opponent's Raticate, and say farewell to Sea King as he attacks with Bite and knocks out the orange fish. I really love Sea King's design. I think it's one of the cooler looking Pokemon. That really doesn't guess that was a smart move because the Eradicate was very weak. Okay, Mason wants me to use the potion card and attach another water energy to Star U and use the slap attack. Again, Star U's now got 3 energy on it, which makes me think we are building up to an evolution here. And the opponent's Machop attacks again with a low kick, and we draw Starmie, the evolution of Star U. And Dr. Mason tells me to evolve Star U by attaching the Starmie to it, and then attack with Starmie's Star Freeze attack, which does 30 damage, and also has a chance of paralyzing the opponent, which it did. Oh, and I guess it only did 20 damage, so the Machop is not yet knocked out. But as it's paralyzed, it cannot attack nor retreat, so they must pass the turn, and Mason will explain to me how to finish this off using Star Freeze yet again, and then I will be proclaimed the winner. Something that I really loved about this game, and still do, are the animations. Obviously, you can play digital versions of the Pokemon trading card game, and I'm sure they have wonderful animations for the most part, but it was nice to get a little bit more visual animation with this game than existed at the time. In fact, in some ways it seemed to have better animations for the attacks than the actual Pokemon games did, at least for some of them. So, Dr. Mason says something that I missed, but I'm sure he's just... okay, he says, now then, let's build your deck. Did you bring your cards? Hackett handed his cards to Dr. Mason. I guess I already have a bit of a collection. He says, let me add some of my own cards to yours. Now, Hackett, what kind of deck do you want? Please select the deck you want. So this kind of mimics the choosing of your first Pokemon. I can choose either the Charmander and Friends deck, the Squirtle and Friends deck, or the Bulbasaur and Friends deck. Well, I think for this one, I'm gonna go with the Bulbasaur and Friends deck because I really have an affinity for a lot of grass-type Pokemon cards, and this will set us off on that path. Dr. Mason says you should duel with many different people. Why don't you go to one of the card clubs? There are many people playing at the clubs. Collect new cards and try building a new deck. Thank you, Dr. Mason. So, now that we are out of the tutorial, I can move around a little more freely. As we'll find in each of the card clubs, there is a computer where you can read mail that Dr. Mason sends you. I guess this is like early email, as one might have had on a computer in 1998. We can open up this mail and it says, "Are you getting the hang of the Pokemon trading card game? I have some information for you about booster packs. If you want to collect the same cards, duel the same person many times to get a particular booster pack. By doing so, you will be able to collect the same cards, making it easier for you to build your deck. Another method for collecting cards is to use Card Pop. When you and a friend receive a new card. Once you pop with a certain friend, you won't be able to pop with that friend again. So find many friends who own the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy and card pop with them to get new cards. I never used that feature when I played this on the Game Boy Color, and I don't know if it actually works on the DS or not. I'm imagining it uses some kind of infrared connection, which I think the DS does have, so maybe it works. Perhaps I'll try it out someday. But here we are with our first pack, and it's called Pokemon Coliseum. So another interesting choice with this game is that even though it features cards from the first three sets of the Pokemon trading card game, they don't give you packs in that way. There's 3 different types of packs, and I think this is one of them, obviously, Coliseum. And then there's the Evolve pack and the Mystery pack. So they kind of mixed them up and separated them out into different packs. I never really figured out exactly what the themes are in these packs, but wow, well, we just got in this pack one of the best cards in the game. When you open the pack, it always starts with the rare you receive at the top, and the rare we got in this first pack is Computer Search, which is a trainer card that says you may use it by discarding 2 cards in your hand in order to search for any card in your deck and add it to your hand. So, truly one of the most useful cards in the entire game. We also got some other guys here. Tangela is a grass type. We might be able to put that in there. We got a Pikachu, a Staryu, Abra, Diglett, Charmeleon, Kadabra, Raticate. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Mason, for that pack. So we'll turn off the computer there, and now I'm going to go into the menu and use not the diary, although that is the way to save the game. We're going to go into the deck and check out what we've got going here. So, as promised, the Bulbasaur and Friends deck features Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. It also has Caterpie and Metapod, no Butterfree. We've got Nidoran male and Nidoran female. We've got a Nidorino and a Tangela. The other thing that they did was add a few Game Boy specific cards. So, like this Tangela, it was never printed as a real card, at least originally. Maybe they printed them later. But some of them have moves that utilize like a randomized function that would only work in something that like this, where it's a digital version. And some of them are pretty good. So in the deck we've got those grass Pokemon. It seems we have a Flareon in the deck as well. That seems kind of strange. And then we also have some water Pokemon. We've got Seal and Dugong, 2 Krabbies and a Kingler, Goldeen and Seaking, and a Vaporeon. And then we've got some normal type Pokemon, a Jigglypuff, a Meowth, a Kangaskhan, it's a great card, and a couple Eevees. Then we have our trainer cards in the deck, and our energy cards. So I'm gonna start right away by changing the deck quite a bit, because useful ratios in a Pokemon deck are not quite how they have us set up here. What you really want a lot of are the trainer cards. I might not have enough to bring it up just yet to the level that I would prefer it to be at, but we can do the best with what we've got. I threw in the extra trainer cards here, and I also don't really like how the spread of different Pokemon goes. I don't think we're going to use this Flareon. That seems like a strange reason to add a whole nother type into the deck. Right now it also is important to sort of monitor how much energy we have, because they don't really start you off with enough energy to use whichever types you would want. But we've got a lot of grass and a good amount of water energy, so I think we'll stick with that, and I guess we'll leave this as it is. We're at 60 cards, so I guess all I did was take out the fire Pokemon and fire energy and add in some more trainer cards. But now we are free to roam on this little island here where everyone does nothing but play Pokemon cards, and you'll see that there are 8 different clubs, each of which focuses on a certain type, and then there's also the Pokemon Dome in the middle, and the Challenge Hall up to the north, and to the northwest, the northwest corner of the island, there is a house preceded by question marks. Who lives there? We will soon find out. I've chosen to go into the water club, and immediately I am greeted by Ronald. And Ronald says, well, getting the water medal wasn't that hard. If I keep this up, I should be able to get the legendary Pokemon cards. What? It's you, Heckett. What are you doing? Huh? That's a deck. Are you trying to get the legendary Pokemon cards? Yes, I say. What? I can't believe it. You, the legendary Pokemon cards. He's quite incredulous. Ha 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 ha. Don't make me laugh. Alright, listen up. I'll teach you what it's about. To inherit the legendary Pokemon cards, you must defeat 8 club masters and get the 8 medals. Then you have to go to the Pokemon Dome and defeat all 4 of the Grand Masters there. There's no way you can do it. You might as well just give up and go home, because the legendary Pokemon cards are gonna be mine. I already won the first medal. See ya, Heckett. Ha 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 ha. Well, that was a very brash encounter for our first encounter with Ronald, but I guess we must have some history. When he mentioned going home, I just realized that in this game you don't actually have a home, at least that you can go to. I wonder if he lives off island somewhere. But let's talk to some people. This is Lass. I guess it's just a Lass. She says, do you know Imakuni? He's a suspicious looking guy dressed all in black. You'll find him dancing away in the lounge at one of the clubs. He stands out, so it shouldn't be too hard to identify him, but maybe you shouldn't go near him. Imakuni is an interesting character and somebody we might encounter. But this is the lounge, I guess, as she said, and there is one of these in each of the clubs. They have a computer and these ladies behind the desk and like a card playing table. I thought maybe we'd have another piece of mail from the professor, but not yet. Sometimes in these lounges you'll find does, and I would love to do that. Isn't it wonderful to duel in a place like this? Would you like to duel, Amanda? Let's get to it. Okay, says Amanda. We'll play with 3 prizes. It'll be a 1-match duel. And there's Amanda, dressed in a swimsuit, as I'm sure everyone here is, as all they do is play Pokemon cards and swim in the pool. This really is a certain kind of paradise. So, in our opening hand, we've got a Meowth, a Nidoran male, and a Krabby, which we can put down. I don't remember Krabby's moves. It can call for family, which allows me to search for another Krabby and put it on the bench. And then it has an Iron Grip attack. Nidoran has only 1 attack, and that's Horn Hazard, which does 30 damage, but only if I flip a heads. And then we have this Game Boy exclusive Meowth, which has the Cat Punch attack with 2 energy. It does 20 damage to one of the opponent's Pokemon chosen at random. I'm gonna go with Nidoran in the hopes that I flip heads and deal some big damage right off the bat. But we'll put the other 2 on the bench. Let's see what she's got. Okay, so then we start with a coin toss to decide who goes first. If it's tails, as it was, the opponent gets to go first. So, she's got a Scyther. That's quite dangerous. Scyther is one of the best of the original Pokemon cards, I would say. It has 2 moves, and the first one is Swords Dance, which says that on the following turn, if Scyther uses the attack slash, its base attack damage is doubled. But I know that that move requires 3 energy, but she has a double energy, which she chose not to put on the Scyther. That's very kind of her, because that would have meant my immediate downfall. So, we'll try for another Horn Hazard attack. We didn't get any damage the first time, but this time we got a heads, and so 30 damage is dealt to the Scyther. She's got another double colorless energy, and this time she attaches it to the Scyther, which gives it enough to do the move slash and knocks out my Nidoran, and she takes her first prize card. Well, this was not how I was expecting the first match to go, but here we are. We'll swing with an Iron Grip from Krabby, and she puts down a Poliwag on the bench, and then uses Slash, which does 30 damage when it has not been preceded by the Swords Dance attack. We drew Bill, which is a trainer card that lets you draw 2 cards, an energy and a Goldeen. We'll put that Goldeen down and attach a water energy to it. And then we use this potion to remove some of the damage from poor Krabby. I have this trainer card called Revive, which says I can put a Pokemon from the discard pile onto my bench with damage equal to half its HP. So I just revived that Nidoran in case I happen to draw Nidorino. And she sends out a Jigglypuff. has enough energy on it to use its other attack, which is called Do the Wave. And Do the Wave says that Wigglytuff does an amount of damage equal to 10 plus the number of Pokemon on their bench. And they have 4 Pokemon on their bench, which means that Do the Wave does a whopping 50 damage. Things aren't looking good for us in this match, but I'm going to use the computer search and search for... I could search for a gust of wind to get this. I think we're going to go with this. Might have not been the best choice, but using the gust of wind trainer card, we can switch out this Wigglytuff for, say, another Wigglytuff that doesn't have enough energy to attack with Do the Wave, and then we can attack with a horn attack to get some damage on it. I'm also hoping that this Wigglytuff doesn't have enough energy to retreat. I don't know what its retreat cost is, but they chose not to retreat and instead to use Lullaby. However, Michael Dean woke up. I drew a grass energy, which I'm going to attach to the Nidoran and proceed to use another horn attack against this Wigglytuff. I still can't believe how well this opponent is doing for our first real challenge in the game. I mean, a Scyther and 2 Wigglytuffs doesn't get much better than that. But we'll see. She doesn't seem to be drawing another energy, which would allow her to use the attack that does damage, and Goldeen thankfully keeps waking up from this lullaby. And I've drawn another grass energy, which I guess I'll attach to this Eevee. Of course, once our opponent is able to do some actual damage and knock out this Goldeen, that will be lights out for this match, because Amanda only has one more prize card to take. But Goldeen is determined and keeps waking up again. Although I am going to switch Goldeen out now and replace it with this Eevee, who now has enough energy to use Quick Attack, which will do 10 damage, and had we flipped to heads, an extra 20 damage. So, unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and now Wigglytuff does the wave and knocks out the poor Eevee. And so for our first match, we must step away, having lost to Amanda, who really has an incredible deck. I'm not even sure that it would be worth it to challenge her in a rematch right now, as I would probably just lose again. I'm gonna look through our cards here It feels so good to swim in the pool. Do you want to take a swim, or would you rather duel? Thank you, Sarah. I would rather duel. And this is going to be a 2-prize card match. And here's Sarah. She actually looks very similar to Amanda, except she has a swim cap on. And as she said, there will only be 2 prize cards in this match, similar to the battle we had against Sam at Dr. Mason's lab. We've got our own Jigglypuff to start out with, and no other basic Pokemon, so we will hope for the best here. Let's see what she's got after the coin toss reveals who will be going first. And it will be Sarah playing first. She's got a Poliwag, which is a little more on theme for this water gym. I don't even remember seeing a water Pokemon in Amanda's deck. She just was ruthless with those Wigglytuffs. But Poliwag is able to attack right away, provided it has a water energy attached to it. We drew Tangela, but that's not quite enough. Well, it's pretty good actually, because I think that Poliwag has a weakness to grass types, and so what I'm going to do is use the computer search trainer card to get rid of Venusaur and a Gust of Wind, and hope that in my deck I will find a switch, which is of course a trainer card that allows you to switch the second to last card was thankfully a switch, so we're going to use the switch to put Jigglypuff on the bench and move Tangela forward. And we'll use its attack Stun Spore, which on a heads paralyzes the Poliwag and also does 20 damage because it is weak to grass type. And Sarah decides to attach a water energy to one of her bench Pokemon, as she was smart enough to realize that the Poliwag she's got up will not be sticking around much longer. We'll attack with another Stun Spore and take our first prize card. Poliwag is knocked out, and our prize card is a Dugong. She sends out a Staryu to replace the Poliwag. Staryu attacks with Slap. Now, I don't think Staryu has a weakness to grass. I'm sure it is instead weak to lightning, as electric, as most water Pokemon are. I used our own Professor Oak to get some new cards, and looks like we also drew a Kingler, so we'll start putting some energy on our Krabby, and then swing in with a Stun Spore, no problem. It actually allows us to retreat the Tangela, which could be a good idea since if it stays out here, it will be knocked out. So I think I'll do it and send out instead the Kingler, who can't do any damage right now, but can still attack with its flail attack, which will do damage equal to the amount of damage on Kingler. Oh, but they have a gust of wind that brings Tangela back into the active zone so that Staryu can knock it out. Well, we'll send Kingler out again and hope that they don't have another one. We've got a Caterpie now. And I think we'll go ahead and attach this grass energy to Kingler and hope that we draw another water energy. Although at this point, I'm guessing they're going to attack with the slap as they did, which will allow Kingler to do a little damage, but we've got that water energy, which allows us to use a crab hammer and knock out the Staryu. And with that, we'll get our second prize card, the final prize card, and defeat Sarah for our first official win outside of Dr. Mason's lab. Uh-oh, says Sarah. I guess I lost. Maybe I shouldn't have been swimming so much. Well, we all have to choose our priorities in life. But so we get a new pack of cards for having defeated Sarah, and it's another Coliseum pack. Let's see what we've got. A Pinsir, which is a pretty good card and fits with our grass type. Another Sea King, that's exciting. Kadabra, Growlithe, Rattata, Machop, a Staryu, a Switch, a Magnemite, and a Water Energy. And we get another pack of Coliseum. And in here we've got a Gyarados, very cool, a Dugong, Kadabra, Eradicate, Ponyta, another Tangela, another Goldeen, another Bill, another Magnemite. Well, that resting. Maybe I should take down Joshua. The person resting over there is Amy, the clubmaster. If you wish to duel Amy, go defeat Sarah and Amanda first. Then I will test your skill, and if by chance you should win, I will introduce you to Amy, the club master. Okay, so we do have to defeat Amanda, as of course I knew we would. Let's hope that things go a little better this time. In this calm, chlorinated club, Amanda's got that knowing look on her face that she knows she's got the better deck. But she didn't have any Pokemon in her opening hand. So here's another rule that has changed since then. If the opponent takes a mulligan, the other player would get to draw an extra card. But no worries, we've started with a Rattata, who is possibly one of the best Pokemon to start the game with, as it deals 20 damage with only 1 energy, and also has no retreat cost, so you can switch it out without losing any energy. But she starts with another Scyther. That's okay though. We're gonna go in with a bite attack and deal 20 damage right off the bat to that Scyther. And currently she uses a potion, removes that damage, but she doesn't have any other benched Pokemon. So if we're able to take out the Scyther, then we'll win the game. We drew a bill, so we'll go ahead and draw another couple cards. We got the Sea King, which is the evolution I was hoping for. We could switch out Rattata and bring in instead the Goldeen, and then evolve it into Sea King. We'll still be able to attack for a small 10 damage, but that is enough to keep it alive. Or rather, it will stay alive even if Scyther is able to attack on this following turn. And we'll get a little damage in. She did not have the double energy, which would have allowed her to deal that 60 damage this turn. The Defender Trainer card, which I had used, was rather useless then, but in any case, we're doing much better than we did in the first matchup with her. We use Waterfall to add another 30 damage. She still missed getting enough energy to attack with Slash. We'll use our Pokemon Trainer Pokeball, and that allows us to search for any Pokemon now that we had flipped aheads. So I'm going to see if we don't have our Raticate in here, just to give Rattata a chance to get even stronger. We'll give it another energy and deal another 30 damage to this Scyther, which is enough to knock it out, getting rid of the only 2 energy poor Amanda was able to pull together so far. And all she's got left is this mysterious fossil rather. And then she had another one, which she put on the bench. But these tiny little husks of a Pokemon only have 10 HP, so we'll just use a Horn Attack so as to not overkill. Knock out that mysterious fossil, and it's replaced by another mysterious fossil. But she's got nothing else. boss now. And when you knock out one of these mysterious fossils, you don't take a prize card, but now that this is the last one and she's got nothing else, that'll give us the game. Sorry, Amanda, I guess your luck has run out. Oops, I lost, she says. Now I'm in trouble. And as a reward, we've got a new pack, this time of the mystery booster set. Inside here, we've got an Electrode, a Jolteon, the Pokemon Center trainer card, a double colorless energy, one of the other very useful cards, most useful cards, another Nidoran female, the original Meowth, a Drowsy, a Vulpix, an Execute, and a Grass Energy. And in the second pack, we've pulled a Dragonair, another Jolteon, Farfetch'd, Rhydon, Pikachu, Vulpix, Meowth, Drowsy, a Voltorb, an Omanite, and that is that. And so now we are set to take on Joshua, who will then allow us to challenge Amy. But I'm afraid we've reached the end of this time together. And I hope that all of this droning on about Pokemon cards and energy and attacks was enough to put you to sleep, if that's where you're trying to go. Or maybe just to give you a little peace in the hectic haze of the real world, which we are all part of and trying to find our way in. And of course, I wish you the best in your journey. And I wish you rest and rejuvenation, so that you may see clearly the best action to take when it is your turn to take action. Just remember to treat yourself with kindness and love, and to let that same kindness and love go out from you. Thank you so much